everyone, Sean Walbin with CS Cyber. I'm Sean.
And I'm Chad.
That's the CS piece. And today we're going to talk about, security awareness training. Are people getting burned out?
Yeah.
I think they are. But what do you think so far?
So out in the field, I'm kind of seeing a mix of results with security awareness training, right? I think the vast majority of people that I come across are on KnowBe4, and it really depends on how people are using the platform, I think.
Right. No, I agree. I think some of the feedback that I've gotten, or some of the things that I've seen, is it's just rinse and repeat. Like it's like Groundhog Day. You set up the training, you view the video, you do some phishing training, but I think that's about it. I think it's just become an exercise. I don't know how many organizations are actually looking at those scores. I think it's stagnant, which is a big concern because we've got some big stuff coming with like deep fakes and,
I really think it's like it's becoming like a check the box item, right? So, we have KnowBe4, we do the phishing tests, we do the yearly security awareness training. I think it's lost its effectiveness, really.
Yeah.
I really do.
No, I think it has. And usually, when that happens, we usually turn to industry. We need disruptors, right? We need people to step up and really, bring something new to the game, which I think is a good point to talk about, kind of what we've done right here at Secure Cyber. And we've partnered with an organization called Cywareness, and they are an Israeli company. And we've been out there to meet them a couple of years or a year ago.
Yeah.
And so I think some of the neat things that they bring to the table that might be different is, I think they bring a cleaner interface. I think they bring a simpler platform. I think KnowBe4 has become, such a heavy platform.
Yeah. I think they just bring a change, right?
No, yeah.
It's a different video. Really from the field, what I see is I see people doing two things, right? They're doing some sort of phishing testing, which really, I think people are just getting softballs thrown at them as far as these phishing tests. It's pretty clear to see that, hey, this is from KnowBe4, this is a test, versus what we're seeing in the field now as far as like real phishing emails and how far they've come with AI.
Yeah, for sure.
They look legit. And then, I mean, how many people have seen the same Kevin Mitnick 45-minute training video for the last 8 years in a row?
Right. May he rest in peace.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good time to discuss maybe some of the new things or new ideas that are coming out of security awareness training. So we've talked to Cywareness about bringing, what if we were able to take the security awareness tools and the results, and we were able to marry them up with a security platform, a cyber platform. So one of the ideas I had always had was, first of all, can we bring the scores into the platform? Meaning that if we're able to pull in the scores that when an analyst is looking at an incident and they see that it's linked to a human or to a worker, that we can use those scores as context, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that we're really looking at in our platform to not only couple with security awareness training, but also like vulnerability management, so that when our SOC analysts are looking at an incident on a specific computer,
mm-hmm.
they know that it's tied to Sean. They know that Sean is a clicker, and they know that desktop hasn't been patched in a year.
Yeah, right. Because that's going to help them. Maybe in the decision process, that's going to help them. And so that's the human piece.
Right. Do we want to isolate this immediately, or do we want to contact somebody? Like, what is our protocol for that, right? So these are things that we're actively looking at bringing into our platform.
Yeah. And we've even potentially looked at a second option of maybe allowing the tools at some point to go ahead and take some action based on those scores. I think one of the most common things that I've seen out in the field, and we both do some public speaking. Whenever I talk about security awareness training, I get the inevitable question, what do you do about the clickers? And I think what they're saying, I think their question is, how do we deal with somebody that is an obvious threat to the security of the organization? Do we fire them? Do we write them up? Do we send them to HR? And I think what people have done is nothing.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, people have just done nothing, right? And they just continue to click. But I think all in all, I don't think you're going to get a bigger bang for your buck in security than user awareness training.
I totally agree.
That is your user base is your biggest vulnerability. They're your biggest asset. And I think that's really what keeps CISOs up at night is the people, right? I mean, they feel like they have technology, they have security in place, you have EDR. If they bypass those things and they're configured correctly, it just happened, right? I mean, it's a bad deal, but you had things in place, like your doors were locked. If they breach an employee, that's just bad. You didn't train that employee. I really think that's a leadership issue.
Right. No, I totally agree. They say that the employee is the weakest link, and that can't be truer.
Right.
There's not a truer statement out there than that the employee is the weakest link. So if we neglect that, if we don't train them, and I'm not talking about just the video stuff, right? That is getting old, but I'm talking about maybe even supplementing and getting back to. I tell you what, I've had the best response of getting back out there and doing in-person security awareness training.
And I think a lot of that because it's different, right? I mean.
Right. Well, and I think people got really, insulated with the whole COVID thing, and, everything was online, everything was remote, and you can't get away from the fact that we're human beings and we have to have interaction.
Right. It needs to be reiterated, right? I mean, it can't just be a one-time thing. I think that's one of the biggest problems with the once-a-year security awareness training platforms, right? I did it. It was 45 minutes. It's done. I'm not thinking about it again.
Right.
What I really like about Cybersecurity is that we get videos and they're much shorter, right? I mean,
these are short videos.
5 to 10 minutes. It's about a specific topic. There's like a little quiz at the end, but we get them often. I want to say probably shorter than every 30 days. Like we're getting a video, we're getting phishing emails that are getting better and better and better.
Yeah. And I think another thing, the Cybersecurity platform also allows us to upload our own training. So when we're sitting at the top of the hierarchy, if you will, and we've got our clients underneath us, we're able to actually use that entire platform as a learning management system, right? And we can upload our own training. So we can also supplement. Even if Cybersecurity didn't cover a topic that we want covered, we can upload. And now we've got this nice studio in here, right? So we can really, really crank out the content. Right. But real quick, I just wanted to, on the in-person training, just in case there was some confusion, we supplement that with our security awareness training platform. Right. So basically, any of our managed customers that want some in-person security awareness training, there's a good chance we're going to do that, right? Yeah. Because I also think you also get the opportunity to, add that additional context. You have the opportunity, if you're at a bank or if you're at a manufacturing facility, that you can add that additional context. You can bring up scenarios. I really like the fact that I have eye contact with everybody.
You can field questions. I mean, people can't ask you questions if they're just watching a video, right? They're just like, yeah, I got through it. I'm going on. But
well, yeah. And again, we're not saying that security awareness training online is dead. You have to have that. But I think if you treat it as a program, not just a thing, right? We bought it to check a box and we're just going to, let it run by itself. But if you create a program, if you create an ecosystem around in-person training supplemented with online training, supplemented with, you've got to really, on the in-person side, you really get the opportunity, which I like, to talk to people about their home environments. So you can relate a lot of that training to maybe some of the struggles that they have at home, because I've always said after COVID, it's all one thing now. So it's not really work at home, work in the office. It's all one and the same. And it's a fluid transition from home to work to back to home. We've got some people, at our organization, they may start at home, go to the office, go to a client, you know, come back home again. I mean, they're in and out of the entire system, and maybe a stop at Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm one of those. I'm very mobile. I'm in and out all day long. But yeah, I mean, I think changing your program, I think, is a valuable thing, right? So get out of the once a year training, start making it just more routine, just part of people's everyday kind of work culture. And I think you bring up a good point, right? I mean, everything that they're learning on company time to protect the company is going to protect them at home as well. And it's likely that they're working from home, they're accessing your environment from home. So it's really in your best interest to provide that, right? But really just get out of that mindset of this is just a check the box item. This is going to be done once a year to, you know, hey, this is going to be done monthly. This is going to be done every 2 weeks. Like there's going to be pop-up trainings. Like if you can condense that time to just a couple minutes, 5 to 10 minutes a month, like that, just it keeps it at the front of their minds versus, oh, I don't have to think about this again until next year.
Right.
It's important.
Well, I'm just a big advocate of making a program. I think it's important to, you know, not just have online, but have in person. I think it's important to have PR items as well. So, you know, think of swag and maybe a poster in the break room. You know, maybe your organization has a big company cookout. Maybe that's an opportunity to create a bracelet or something that I don't know. I know those things sound weird and goofy, but you know, I think they all contribute to a very diverse platform for security training for your employees. And you know, I've always told people I did an article once where somebody said, you got $100, you know, what do you spend it on? And it's like, I would spend it on user awareness training any day of the week. If I had a small budget and, you know, I really wanted the biggest bang for a buck, it's not the most flashy firewall, and it's not, you know, most of what can be stopped by just properly educating an employee.
It's your biggest exposure.
Yes, on what to look for and how to respond to it. So that's kind of my thing.
I would say, I mean, double down on the clickers, right? I mean, bring them up to the level, to a standard that you have set for your company. So don't look to necessarily get rid of them. They may be really good at their job, right? They may be really valuable to the organization. They just trust every email that comes in, right? So really double down on them and get them to understand, like, hey, you have a big impact. You have potentially a big impact on this organization if you do the wrong thing, right? So really double down on those users and get them up to a standard.
All right. Okay. Well, that's it for today. Wasn't sponsored by Cybersecurity, but we thank them for their partnership, and we hope you got a little bit out of this and maybe got some new ideas on how to run your security awareness program. But I want to thank you for attending CS Cyber, and we'll see you for the next episode.
See you next time.